my building, and elevators don't work in many buildings. I had to run up 9 flights of stairs to make sure my ex-wife and other son was okay. There are people there's a convenience store in every block, and those are all full with people trying to get items like water and food. So, when somebody like you comes out and tells people, in the event of a dollar collapse or whatever, that you should really try and stock up on food, I hope people take you seriously, because you'll never know when you'll need it. And thanks to you, I pretty much have stocked up, so we were okay.
Well, thank God, sir. Look, I'm stocked up on food, ammo, guns, and it's not that I live in fear. It's that I live empowered, and I don't want to live in fear. I would be afraid in my home at night if I didn't have firearms. I mean, I can't imagine the domesticated, timid souls. David, we're going to go to you real fast on the other side, because it's live from Japan. We're going to go ahead and get this top meteorologist, Piers Richard Corbyn, on as well at the same time with you. We're going to try to look at what could be triggering the massive increased tectonic activity the last 2 years. There's a lot more earthquakes happening, folks. We'll be right back.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Alex has told you that the Mideast uprisings over food prices and shortages caused by fuel costs are spreading worldwide. We're seeing the impact right here in the United States. Ethanol that was supposed to reduce petroleum use and fuel prices hit a 30-month high in February, and pump prices are expected to reach $5 a gallon. Because of shipping costs, food is being priced out of the reach of millions of Americans, with an expected 35% jump in the next 60 days. Move quickly while you can still afford it, and eFoods Direct will pay your shipping costs for you. For the best tasting, long-term storable food, you pay nothing for shipping and can put every dollar into food at today's prices. eFoods Direct, food so delicious you can serve it tonight or save it for the future. Take advantage of free shipping by calling 800-409-5633. On the web, efoodsdirect.com/Alex, 800-409-5633, or efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica, the number 3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Silver Lungs generator. Now you can produce pure and endless colloidal silver and deliver the solution directly into the bloodstream by breathing the solution through the lungs. The respiratory system is the first line of defense for airborne pathogens and viruses. The Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced nano-silver solutions and also delivers the silver nanoparticles instantly into the bloodstream. With continued legislation threatening the sale of nano-silver products, you can now produce pure and endless colloidal silver with the Silver Lungs generator. Very easy to follow, step-by-step instructions are provided, making production fast and simple. Go to www.silverlungs.com today and learn more about the breakthrough technology of the Silver Lungs generator. That's www.silverlungs.com.
I would stand in line for this. There's always room in life for this. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Then it fell apart.
All right, we have meteorologist Piers Richard Corbyn, also astrophysicist. 2 weeks before, and we're first going to a call from David in Japan. 2 weeks. And we have the ABC News article. Aaron's printing it right now. We found it during the break from 2005. 2 weeks before the last supermoon. That's when the moon is very close to the Earth. It's going to be the closest it's been to the Earth since 1992. That there is a clear connection with the moon being closer to Earth and tidal pull and super earthquakes and tsunamis. We know the moon controls the tides anyways. But we've got a true astrophysicist who specializes in lunar research joining us here in a moment. We also have record solar flares hitting the Earth. ABC News is now asking today, did supermoon cause 8.9 earthquake in Japan? So they just beat us to the article we're writing at Infowars.com. We'll talk to Piers Corbyn, who's actually on a bus right now. We caught him on his cell phone. We'll talk to the astrophysicist here in a moment, who's also a meteorologist. But right now, quickly, David in Japan, James, who just called in, had to get to high ground with his son and barely got away from the tsunami. Where are you in Japan? What can you tell us, David?
I'm in Osaka, Japan, and I just wanted to say that on the local news reports we have here, they're reporting a lot of casualties. They're reporting it town by town, and it's 30 people here, 40 people there. It looks like there's going to be extremely high casualties from the tsunami because it's not just like the earthquakes, because Japan generally is very well prepared, has very good building codes in terms of earthquakes, but there's just no preparing for the effect of the tsunami. Luckily, where I am here in Osaka, the effect of the tsunami wasn't too strong. We were shielded, but in Tokyo and up north, there's been terrible casualties, and they say in the town of Sendai that there's been between 200 and 300 fatalities there. So it's probably going to go into the thousands, I think.
Absolutely. Just like in the Indonesian situation that ended up killing over 200,000. For the first few hours, we heard 100, 200, 300. It's now above 300 dead in Japan. I would imagine from the devastating footage we've seen all over that coastal area of Japan, where you just see hundreds of houses just being slammed like paper boats, and factories and airports just exploding into fire. This is absolutely incredible. We've got to be praying for everybody there. I would guess that the death toll is probably going to be in the tens of thousands, ladies and gentlemen. Anything else, David, that you can add to us for us from Japan?
Yeah, in relation to the nuclear reactor, that was what I wanted to ring you about. The first reports that came out, they said that they had there was an explosion in the coolant system and they weren't able to control number one reactor. Actually, that area where in Fukushima, where the nuclear reactor is, there's 6 nuclear reactors on the site. And they said they were able to shut down number 4 to 6. Number 2, the coolant system turned on properly. But number 1, they were not able to turn on the coolant system, and they made a report about that. And then afterwards, they denied it. And now we're not sure what the situation is.
Well, I've got the latest on that. Again, ABC News, Reuters as well. Pressure at damaged Japanese nuclear reactor rising with fears that there's no coolant going in. I mean, this is very serious. Earthquake damaged Japanese nuclear reactor plant northeast of Tokyo has stoked fears of radioactive fallout unless the reactor core can be cooled, and renewed concern about the security of other nuclear facilities in the tsunami's path. If it blows, it could actually cause the other reactors to blow. And as you said, there's 6 there. This is a gigantic facility. Japan, of course, gets most of its power, like France, from the nukes. And this is the problem with nukes, folks. I love technology, but, you know, if I could have a coal-powered plant that just puts out carbon dioxide and water vapor, I'd rather have it than a nuke. And Texas has got a bunch of nukes in it. Well, thank you so much, David. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, thanks, Alex. We're listening here in Japan, and you're having a big impact, so keep up the good work. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you, sir. Folks, we need to pray right now that they get the coolant into that thing. This is going to affect us, too. If it melts down and explodes, it's going to eject incredibly radioactive isotopes right into the jet stream, and they're going to orbit the Earth for the next 4 billion years or so. And Chernobyl devastated, thousands of square miles in its path. This is devastating, ladies and gentlemen. Any way you slice it. What is Japan, the earthquake-prone capital of the world, doing with literally hundreds of nuclear reactors. Look up how many reactors they've got. I believe it's close to 100. Austin has 2 nuclear reactors in it, giant research reactors up at the J.J. Pickle facility. And I tell the idiot public this and they laugh at me. And by the way, we're on a fault line here with 3 dormant volcanoes we're sitting on top of. They're not extinct, a lot of evidence shows. Okay, I'm going to shut up now and go to our guest who joins us from the roads there in England. He's on the road. Piers Richard Corbyn, meteorologist, astrophysicist, consultant, and owner of Weather Action. And he's hailed by CNN, Fox, BBC as the only guy who can predict with over 90% accuracy, some say 86% accuracy, a year out what's going to happen. They got 55 operating to supply power and a bunch of other research facilities, 52 light water, 55 overall. Mr. Corbyn, again, what is your accuracy a year out? I forget the exact number. And give us your view on ABC and others saying that did supermoon cause 8.9 earthquake in Japan? What is a supermoon, sir?
Right, well, our accuracy rate is 85% for extreme events forecasted many months ahead, and that's based on a combination of solar and lunar effects. A supermoon is when the moon is closest to the Earth and there's also it's also full on new. But basically, that situation gives you the strongest tidal effect. Now, the idea that the supermoon helps trigger earthquakes is absolutely correct. We agree with that, and we know there is a lunar signal in earthquake data. But we also know that to actually trigger an earthquake, it seems very helpful, you might say, if there is also major activity on the sun just preceding the moment where there will be some lunar effects in terms of tides.
And by the way, Doctor...
there was a big solar flare yesterday.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
It hit yesterday. The effect of it hit yesterday.
Sir, I interrupted you because there was a little bit of time delay. Repeat that. You're saying if there's lunar and solar together, that there's evidence and that
That's right.
We did have both yesterday. Please repeat it in detail. Yes,
what you need to get a big earthquake is a combination of a lunar and solar effects. You need big events on the sun, and then those events affect the solar wind, and you need the solar wind coronal mass ejections to be directed to Earth. And yesterday, Earth was hit by a coronal mass ejection. And at the same time, it helps if you've also got extra lunar tidal effects on the Earth crust. And that's what we've got right now, so or near that. So that gives us what we're seeing.
Well, sir, as a leading meteorologist and astrophysicist who specializes in lunar and solar study, there's a big debate raging right now with Discover Magazine. ABC says, did supermoon cause 8.9? They're reporting this is the biggest supermoon since 1992. Is that correct from your research? And I mean, and some people...
Yeah, well, it probably is correct, but you know, you actually get quite a lot of lunar effects. I mean, the moon is closest to the Earth once every month. So you've then got to have other things for the moon as well, as I said, a new moon or a full moon. So when they say the biggest for a long time, they're also talking about the plane of the moon's orbit and so forth, such as if it's near an eclipse. So I think the details of how big isn't that important, just as long as you've got a significant moon and an extra hit from the sun. Because the earthquakes are things which are waiting to happen all the time, and it needs a trigger. And if there's triggers above a certain level, then they will come, and the combination of lunar and solar effects will give them.
So the two magnify each other?
That's right, definitely.
How do